Hey, Jack Mazzotti here. I thought I'd do a little tutorial on some advanced sequencing you can do with Live if you have the right hardware and a little bit of extra software. So starting out here, I got Touchable on the iPad, which I'm just using for mixing purposes, although it can do so much more. But I'm just going to bring that one track down. Here is the Launchpad that's running LPC-Live 2, which is from Native Control, which is a script designed for the Launchpad and Live. And here is Push, which I'm running in regular push mode, and here is Numerology Pro version 4, which has a script for the push as well as Launchpad and other things, but I like using it on push. And so what I have here in Live is I have 2 instances of Omnisphere, and then I have 1 instance of Numerology. Okay, so Numerology is running 1 Omnisphere. You can actually have up to 8 of them controlled on the Launchpad. 8, I'm sorry, yeah, on the Launchpad or the push. 8 racks of Numerology sequencers that can all be controlled on the push or the Launchpad. But I'm only using 1, and then I'm having 1 Omnisphere that I'm sequencing off of push. So what's going on with Omnisphere? Okay, so I have, with Numerology, I have 1 interval sequencer and then 1 mono note. And then for the routing, I have the pitch out of the interval sequencer going into the interval in of the mono note. And so what that means is that changes made to the interval sequencer will actually modulate the sequence, which is just a 3-step 16th note sequence going on in the mono note. But let's look at the hardware. Okay, let's look at doing this with push. So go to Browse, I select the mono note. So here's my 3-note sequence that I can change. Okay. Okay. Now I could have this up to 32 steps, but for this demo we're just going to keep it with 3. Okay. And here is the speed, you know, like 32s or 64s, 8s, quarter notes, you know, all the way down to, you know, you get, I think it's 2 steps, I think it's 2 bars per, it goes lower than whole steps, so per step. Octave controls. And then down here, this is a little keyboard, okay, that is designed to change the key of what the sequence is in. But you can see it's not changing the key, it's just changing, or you can hear rather, it's not changing the key, it's changing the pattern of notes within the same key. And that is accomplished because I have over here on that Omnisphere track, I have a rack that has a chord, it has a note length, and it has the C major scale plugin. So no matter what changes are made to the MIDI sequence, they're still going to line up within side of, you know, here I'm changing it. You can see the lights are changing in the scale plugin. So no matter what, everything's being constrained to C major scale. And this extra pitch plugin here, it's not part of the rack, is used for LPC-Live 2, which I'll get to in a moment. So back to Numerology. So this is the mono note again. You can also, let's see, I'm going to change this to a 5-note pattern, okay? Which I like too. I like odd numbers. bring that up. Here's get cool polyrhythms going on when you're playing sequences of different lengths together. So this little bar going across here, these are skip steps. So I just took 2 out. So now it's back to playing a 3-note pattern, which is just fantastic. So you can remove whatever ones you want, okay, except the end ones. That won't work, okay. But anything in the middle, now it's just 2 notes, right? 3 from 5. Now 2 from 5 is 3. Go back, hit the browse button. Now let's select the interval sequencer. Okay, here's an 8. I just set it to an 8-note pattern, and then whatever I put in here is going to transpose. If I go down, it'll transpose down. See that? This is where you change the note lengths, or the note pitch ranges. Okay? So the fact that one's red means it's lower. Okay, if I go up here, they're all lower. Okay. Now it's this. I just changed the octave of that. See? Go down, hit it. Now it's red. So that's the 6th step because there are only 7. Okay. And that's down 1 step, or down an octave, that red note. But if I hit it again, it's back in the same octave as all these other notes are. So I have a 3-note sequence being modulated by an 8-note pattern, okay? A 3-note pattern being modulated by an 8-note pattern. And I can go in and change the speed of this as well. So you can hear that it's a different pattern now. So you can come up with really complex sequences this way. It would take you a while to write by hand, and you wouldn't be able to switch them around either, you know, by drawing them or playing them. You know, this allows you to just make huge changes on the fly with 1 button. Okay, back into the regular push mode, and let's show you what I've got going on with this rack here. Okay, so being that it's a mononote, it sends out a monophonic sequence, but I can add notes into that with the chord plugin, right? So that's 1 step. Let's bring it up a few. And then this here is the velocity, but it allows me to kind of change the volume of that note as well. So you can bring it in, you know, much louder, or you can bring it down to where it's not quite as loud. Let's bring this down a few steps, bring it down a fifth of the scale, not a whole fifth down, but fifth in relationship to the scale. Okay, so although it's a monophonic sequence, it's now playing a type of chord. And then here's the note length. So I can change the whole note length with that. But now if we come over to, now all this can be modulated, or automated rather, because I have a blank clip running, okay? I got a blank Midi note clip running, and you can, you know, hit automation and then, you know, do all the cool stuff you can do with clip automation. But that's not what I'm going to be doing here. Okay, so LPC-Live 2. I have this set up to where I can change the whole, again the whole sequence, but in much bigger steps than I could do using Numerology's little keyboard. So I can do it in much bigger steps. And of course, if you wanted to record this whole MIDI output, you just create another MIDI track and have it record all the MIDI coming out of that Omnisphere track, and then you could have all these complex changes being recorded into a MIDI clip. So what I like about this here with LPC-Live 2 is you could be creating your sequence and doing some changes with your right hand and then modulating and shifting that whole sequence through the whatever key you have it set for with your other hand, which is fantastic. Okay, so now let's switch over to the other omnisphere. Okay, bring this one down a little bit. Okay, so this is another omnisphere sequence that I'm sequencing off of push with the note sequencer. Okay, and I can do the same thing. I can change it all with LPC-Live 2. And by the way, this will actually change audio clips too. You can transpose those on the fly, which is pretty awesome. The same way. Just with Midi, you have to have a Midi pitch plug-in on the track if you're going to shift Midi patterns. And I actually requested that Stray of Native Control would do that, and he did, which is amazing. Okay, so you see how this is staying in one place? Because I have it set to re-trigger mode. But if I hit this, it's now in legato, so it'll shift the pattern, but it's not going to restart them. See? So you can play your pattern. Becomes like a phrase sequencer. Pretty amazing. So I hope you found this useful. You know, it's a little bit of an investment, you know, to get numerology. I think it's, I don't know, I forget how much it is. I think it's $200, but you can probably get it less than that. But it's really pennies on the dollar when you think about what you can do with it. And then LPC-Live 2, I think is $25, which is a total bargain. So I hope you found this useful and informative and boost your creativity with doing MIDI sequences. And that's all for now. Bye-bye.